Okay, let's jump right into this. Picture this scenario for a second. You've poured absolute buckets of sweat, countless sleepless nights, and pretty much your entire life savings into building your online empire. You pull out your phone, you look at your page, and you see that magical number, 100,000 followers. It feels good, right? It's a deep, hard-earned sense of pride. You look at those numbers and you think to yourself, these are my customers. I built this. I am the owner of a thriving business. But what if I told you that almost everything you believe about your digital storefront is just a carefully crafted illusion? What if the very foundation you are standing on doesn't actually belong to you at all? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a fascinating and honestly somewhat terrifying journey into the hidden mechanics of modern e-commerce. We're going to decode the dark, invisible machinery of what is arguably the world's largest, perfectly legal digital extortion platform.
So, here is the big question. Do you really own your online business? It's a question that should send a bit of a chill down the spine of literally any entrepreneur. Because sure, you hold the physical inventory. You're the one carefully taping up those boxes with your own two hands. You're the one staying up until 2 in the morning, rubbing your eyes, trying to answer every single late-night customer message. But real ownership? Well, ownership ultimately implies control. And in this specific digital ecosystem, your control is entirely synthetic. It's a mirage. Today, we're going to look at some real-world data that proves a really uncomfortable truth. Your online business is completely at the mercy of an invisible landlord.
And here is a very raw, very rude awakening that we all kind of have to confront. Tomorrow morning, Mark Zuckerberg could wake up, a completely automated algorithm could flag some invisible, unknown issue on your account, and with a single click, your page is restricted. Just like that, your entirely successful business is reduced to absolute zero. It would take literally 1 second. Poof, gone. All those immensely loyal followers, all the deep trust and brand equity you spent years and years cultivating, just evaporated into the ether. You see, for the longest time, we all just assumed social media was giving us a free public space to do business. But man, we were devastatingly wrong about that. Part 1. The Golden Era Trap. To really understand how we all ended up so profoundly vulnerable, we actually have to travel back in time a little bit. We need to investigate exactly how this trap was originally set. The story really kicks off about 10 to 12 years ago. Now, if you were there, you remember it felt like absolute magic. You could open a basic page, post a completely unfiltered, simple picture of your product right from your phone, and suddenly, boom, hundreds of organic likes, dozens of real orders just flooding right into your inbox. The platform was essentially handing out free organic reach to entrepreneurs on a silver platter. At the time, it felt like just incredible luck. It felt like we had stumbled into a modern-day gold rush. But looking back at the corporate blueprints today, we can see with absolute clarity that it wasn't luck at all. Actually, it was a meticulously calculated psychological trap. By giving you all of that massive, unthrottled free reach early on, they created a state of total platform dependency. Millions of eager, hardworking entrepreneurs looked at those easy sales and completely abandoned the idea of building their own independent websites. They stopped investing in physical brick-and-mortar stores. Instead, they willingly walked straight into this digital cage, completely locking the heavy iron door right behind them. Everyone was wholly convinced they had found this permanent, endless shortcut to wealth. And once millions of sellers were securely trapped inside this enclosed ecosystem, well, that's when the platform played its devastating masterstroke.
Part 2. Algorithm throttling explained.
So without any warning whatsoever, the rules of the game just fundamentally changed. The platform introduced a concept called algorithm throttling. And honestly, the real-world results of this are just stark. Think about it like this. You might have spent 5 long, grueling years gathering 100,000 followers. And these are real people. People who actively clicked the follow button because they genuinely wanted to see your products. But today, when you post an exciting update, it maybe reaches 1, perhaps 200 people. The algorithm is deliberately, intentionally strangling your organic reach. Just imagine the crushing frustration of that betrayal. The platform realized they were sitting on an absolute gold mine, and suddenly they decided it was time to start charging you a very hefty admission fee just to talk to your very own hard-earned audience.
The reality is, you are not the owner of your business. You are a tenant paying digital rent. That is the crucial, painful point here. To reach the very customers you already bled to gather, you now have to pay real dollars directly to the platform. This is the ultimate textbook pay-to-play model. You are absolutely not the landowner here. You are merely a tenant living on their property. As long as you pay your digital rent, as long as you dutifully click that boost post button and hand over your credit card, your business is allowed to breathe for just another day. But the very second you stop paying that invisible tax, your business becomes completely invisible to the outside world. But hold on, because it gets much deeper and significantly more expensive than just paying simple rent.
Part 3. The invisible bidding war.
So we need to pull back the curtain on the most terrifying financial machinery ever designed to systematically drain your profit margins. You might naturally think that when you pay for an ad, you are basically buying space in a fixed-price store, like buying a billboard on the highway. Well, you are incredibly wrong. The ad system is actually a ruthless, real-time global auction. Pay super close attention to this scenario because it's wild. Imagine you are selling these really beautiful three-piece suits. You set your targeting for female shoppers aged 18 to 35 living in Dhaka City. Makes sense, right? Well, the massive problem is that at that exact same fraction of a second, 5,000 other online sellers are targeting that exact same demographic. But as that specific customer is casually scrolling on her phone, there are only 1 or maybe 2 slots actually available for an ad in her newsfeed. So what happens? The algorithm silently triggers this intense, invisible bidding war among those 5,000 desperate sellers. And whoever is willing to bleed the most dollars per click takes the slot.
And the financial toll of this digital gladiator arena is just devastating for small businesses. Think about this. Just 5 years ago, acquiring a single customer lead, just getting a simple message in your inbox might have cost you a mere 2 cents. Basically nothing. Today, directly because of this intense, artificially created competition, that exact same lead can cost you 20 to 30 cents, or honestly, even way more depending on the day. The fundamental cost of just knocking on a potential customer's digital door has skyrocketed exponentially. And the truly terrifying part of all this is that you have absolutely zero control over it.
Let's just break down the actual real-world mathematics of this extortion, because the numbers don't lie. Say your initial profit margin on that beautiful three-piece suit is 300 taka. You look at that and you think, hey, I'm doing pretty well. But to actually win that invisible auction we just talked about and convert that scrolling user into a paying customer, your ad cost easily eats up 200 taka. Then you factor in standard delivery and packaging, which takes the remaining 100 taka. So what is your final seller profit? Exactly zero. 0 taka. Think about the madness of this. You are working bone-crushing hours day and night, managing complex inventory, dealing with customer complaints, essentially running a massive full-scale operation out of your living room, but your actual profit margin is being funneled straight out of your pocket and directly into Silicon Valley, often passing through shady gray market agencies along the way. You are essentially trapped in a digital zombie state. So how on earth do you escape this cycle?
Part 4. The Automation Escape Plan. Because the solution here isn't to just go buy yet another expensive online course on how to run better ads. No, the solution is to completely change the entire game you are playing. Here is the massive, paradigm-shifting twist that is currently being used by the smartest, most successful leading entrepreneurs out there. The ones who are actually thriving in this highly competitive market. Their secret blueprint is astonishingly simple. They simply stop paying the digital landlord. They have fully realized that if they rely solely on the social media inbox to run their entire business, they are on a guaranteed mathematical path to total bankruptcy. So instead of fighting a completely losing battle against an omnipotent algorithm, they implement a brilliant, calculated escape plan. Here's exactly how this builds into an unstoppable, completely independent ecosystem. Step 1. They do still use the platform, but strictly as a wide net to just catch initial leads. That's it. Step 2 is where the absolute magic really happens. Once they catch a customer, they immediately pull them completely off the platform. They meticulously save the customer's name, their phone number, their purchase history, and they put all of that into their own private CRM, their own highly secure database. In the industry, this is called first-party data. Then comes step 3. When they launch a brand new product or have a big seasonal discount, they do not give Silicon Valley another single dime to try and reach that past customer. Instead, they use the WhatsApp Business API combined with AI automation to send a direct, highly personalized message straight to that customer's personal phone.
And guys, the contrast in these numbers is just jaw-dropping. It's night and day. When you rely heavily on the algorithm, just throwing your hard-earned money into the dark, an incredibly successful ad campaign might give you a 2% conversion rate, maybe. But a direct message sent via WhatsApp to a customer whose data you actually own in your own database, that commands an open rate of nearly 98%. 98%. Let that sink in.
When you own the data and you use automated messaging to retarget your buyers, that ruthless algorithm can literally no longer hurt you. You have successfully bypassed the digital extortion entirely, and for the first time, you finally truly own your connection to your buyer.
Part 5. Owning your business future. This brings us to a really critical crossroads for literally anyone trying to survive, let alone thrive in this current digital economy. The nostalgic golden days of just uploading pretty pictures to the internet and waiting for the sales to just organically roll in, those days are dead and buried. They are gone. The modern market is now completely controlled by a merciless algorithm and global real-time math. If you do not know your customer acquisition costs down to the exact penny, and if you are not aggressively, constantly building your own first-party database, you are incredibly, dangerously vulnerable. You must evolve. You can no longer afford to just be a simple product seller. You must transform into a sovereign, data-driven tech marketer. Because in this harsh, unforgiving ecosystem, your own data is your absolute biggest weapon. It is genuinely the only true moat protecting your livelihood from the invisible landlord.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the corporate blueprints that secretly control so much of our digital lives, I want to leave you with one final, haunting thought that I really hope sticks with you. Tomorrow morning, take a hard look at your daily grind. Look at the late nights, feel the stress, and look very, very closely at your real profit margins. And ask yourself, truly, honestly, are you actually building your own independent business? Or are you just an unpaid, exhausted employee working tirelessly every single day to enrich someone else's platform for free? Think about it, and more importantly, start taking real control of your data today.